Most people think of cheese as a guilty pleasure. But what if I told you there's a whole lot more to this delicious story? Get ready to be surprised. We always hear that cheese has too much fat, too much salt, and isn't great for your heart. But let's dig in and see what's really going on. What if I told you that some cheeses could actually help your gut feel amazing? That's right, cheese might be your gut's new best friend. Yes, cheese, the food many of us were told to avoid, might actually help keep your microbiome happy and balanced. Isn't that incredible? Stick with me, because the real story is even more fascinating and uplifting than you might imagine. In today's video, we're exploring the hidden relationship between cheese and your gut. We'll break down what prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics really are. We'll uncover which cheeses are truly gut-friendly and which ones don't make the cut. And most importantly, you'll learn how to enjoy cheese in a way that actually helps your health. By the end, you'll see why cheese is not the star of the probiotic world, but it can be a valuable team player in a diverse and balanced diet. But first, let's take a quick look at the facts behind cheese and health. For decades, cheese was demonized for its saturated fat and cholesterol, but newer research is changing the story. Professor Tim Spector, an epidemiologist, author, and founder of Zoe, has shown through a health study that fermented foods like cheese can boost microbial diversity and may even help reduce inflammation. Harvard Health also points out that some cheeses, like aged cheddar and Gouda, contain live probiotic cultures that survive the cheese-making process. And a study from Stanford Medicine found that a fermented food diet increases microbiome diversity and decreases inflammatory markers. So while cheese isn't a miracle food, science is showing us that in the right form, it can contribute to gut health. Cheese begins with fermentation. During this process, bacteria convert lactose into lactic acid, creating flavors, textures, and sometimes living probiotic cultures. Not all cheeses contain live bacteria. Pasteurization or heavy processing can kill them. But traditionally aged or raw cheeses often carry beneficial microbes. Think of cheese as part of the broader family of fermented foods alongside yogurt, sauerkraut, and kefir. So, which cheeses are most likely to support gut health? Science suggests we should look for raw, unpasteurized, and traditionally aged cheeses. These tend to carry more diverse microbial cultures that survive longer and may reach your gut. Here are the main things to look for when buying. Aged or mature on the label, usually 6 months or more. The longer the aging, the richer the flavor and the higher the chance of live cultures. Minimal ingredients. Ideally just milk, salt, enzymes, and cultures. Avoid products with long lists of additives or stabilizers. Artisanal or traditional production small batch or farm cheeses often preserve microbial diversity better than industrial versions. Cow, goat, or sheep milk. All can be beneficial, but goat and sheep cheeses may be easier to digest for some people. Examples include blue cheeses like Roquefort and Stilton, rich in unique microbial strains. Aged cheddar and Gouda, both studied for their ability to deliver beneficial bacteria. Comte, Brie, and Epoisses, soft ripened varieties with active surface cultures. High-quality goat and sheep cheeses, often less processed with distinct bacteria. And here's another benefit. Aged cheeses naturally contain less lactose, making them easier to tolerate if you're sensitive. So next time you're shopping, don't just grab the cheapest block on the shelf. Look for signs of aging, simplicity, and tradition. These are the clues that point to a cheese that can do more than just taste good. Here's something most people don't know. Even if the bacteria in cheese don't survive the journey through your gut, they can still have an effect. Dead bacterial fragments, known as postbiotics, may help regulate immune function. Cheese also provides peptides and short-chain fatty acids that nourish gut cells and support overall metabolic health. So it's not just about the living bacteria. The byproducts of fermentation can be just as valuable. Cheese can support your gut, but only if you eat it the right way. And here's the part many people overlook. Cheese on its own won't transform your microbiome. Your gut thrives when probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics all work together. Cheese brings probiotics and postbiotic compounds, but what it doesn't bring is prebiotics, the fiber that feeds those bacteria. And this is where the magic happens. When you pair cheese with fiber-rich plant-based foods, you're not just adding flavor, you're creating the perfect environment for your microbes to thrive. Here are some simple, everyday examples. Aged cheddar with apple slices. Soluble fiber from the apple nourishes the bacteria from the cheese. Goat cheese on a leafy green salad, the greens act as natural prebiotics. Brie with sauerkraut on whole grain bread. 2 fermented foods plus fiber equals a microbiome powerhouse. Gouda with asparagus or artichokes. Both vegetables are packed with inulin, one of the best prebiotic fibers. The rule is simple. Cheese plus fiber equals gut health synergy. A thumb-sized portion of cheese paired with plants a few times per week is where the real benefits show up. Now let's be clear. Not all cheeses are created equal. Processed slices, cheese spreads, pizza toppings, and spray cans. They may taste good, but they've lost most of their microbial benefits. Excessive pasteurization, additives, and industrial processing strip away the live cultures. What you're left with is fat, salt, and very little nutrition for your microbiome. If your goal is gut health, skip the plastic-wrapped slices and go for real, traditionally made cheese. Many people hear cheese has probiotics and immediately start eating large amounts. But more isn't better. Too much cheese can increase sodium and saturated fat intake. Another mistake is relying only on cheese for gut health. Remember, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Here's something simple you can try this week. Next time you prepare a snack, take a small piece of aged Gouda or cheddar. Pair it with a handful of grapes or apple slices. That way you're combining probiotics from the cheese with prebiotics from the fruit. It's quick, delicious, and gives your gut bacteria the diversity they thrive on. Cheese is a fermented food. Certain varieties like Roquefort, aged cheddar, Gouda, Brie, and goat cheese can deliver probiotics and postbiotic compounds that support your microbiome. But remember, the magic happens when you pair cheese with fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. That's when the bacteria truly thrive. At the same time, let's keep perspective. If we're honest, the average supermarket cheese has only a modest impact on gut microbial diversity compared to true probiotic powerhouses. Fermented foods such as kefir, kimchi, kombucha, and sauerkraut are teeming with a much wider range of live microbes, so think of cheese not as a miracle cure, but as a team player, a small but enjoyable part of a larger, fiber-rich and plant-forward diet. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to Healthier Horizons, and share it with a friend who loves cheese as much as you do. We appreciate you being here. And if you want to learn which everyday foods might actually harm your gut and even your heart, you'll definitely want to check out our next video. See you there.